I'm like, if I'm going to eat an animal, I would like to be able to like witness its death and make that like a very sacred experience.
Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan, the YouTube channel not hosted by a sociopath, a narcissist, or a grifter. So I want to thank our viewers for leaving this comment for me to check out a new video of a why I'm no longer vegan type video. And once again, it's from a channel I have never heard of, Wild We Roam. So as usual, when I watch these why I'm no longer vegan videos, there's two things I'm going to pay close attention for. First and foremost, I want to see if there was really some compelling, absolute reason why these people could no longer be vegan, because I'm still waiting to hear one. Because you know all the anti-vegans say, see, these people like all others couldn't be vegan. Well, we'll see if there was some reason that just made it impossible for them to eat plants. We'll find out. And secondly, if they bring up some sort of health or medical issue that was related to their vegan diet, which was the reason why they couldn't be vegan, I want to see if there was any actual medical health professionals involved in helping them and diagnosing them and treating them, or was it just some kind of like, self-diagnosis thing like we see so often. So anyway, let's jump right in.
I don't want to be vegan anymore. And it's really weird because I've been vegan for almost a decade.
I just want to quickly jump in. Yeah, it sounds like a long time, a decade, but I've been vegan since 2010, so about 13 years, and I'm a lot older too. I'm 56 years old right now.
I've just been doing so much thinking, and I've been craving animal products so much for honestly the last 10 months. That's like how hard of a decision this has been for me to make this change, because I just thought I was going to be vegan forever, and then I just kept getting this like cravings for eggs or cravings for chicken or cravings for steak. And I don't know if it's because I'm postpartum and I'm just like nursing my son so much, or growing the baby, or now also being more connected to farmers or having our own land and wanting to live as closely to the land as we can and be fully self-sufficient.
So that's a lot of stuff there, and she discusses the postpartum issues more later in this video, so we'll get to that then. But I just want to point out what veganism is and isn't right now, because I hear about like self-sustaining and farming and all that stuff. Veganism has nothing to do with that. It's simply taking a stand against animal cruelty and exploitation.
And I haven't honestly eaten anything yet. I haven't eaten an egg. I haven't eaten any meat.
Oh, that's interesting. So they haven't stopped being vegan yet. I mean, stopped being vegan in their minds maybe, but as far as their diet, still eating just plants, but making the video ahead of time. I mean, I guess that makes sense if you don't want to have your audience be completely confused if they're watching you for vegan reasons and they see you eating animal products.
It's weird because it's become part of my identity, and I think that that's part of it. I think becoming a mother was such a massive shift in my identity. And then my brain changed or something. And now I feel this need to just try to live as much as we can off the land.
So what I'm hearing basically is you're shifting priorities, going through some kind of life-changing situation here. So I assume, used to believe animal cruelty and exploitation were wrong, and somehow you flipped a switch and now animal cruelty and exploitation are okay, and you raised up to a higher priority than veganism, the concept of sustainable living off the land.
Potentially Lou might get into hunting on our land. We have a really large deer population here.
All right, so I guess that makes it super obviously clear now that you no longer believe that animal cruelty and exploitation are wrong. You feel it's okay to hunt them and kill them and eat them when you know it's absolutely not necessary, but you're doing this in the name of sustainable living.
And maybe that would be something that we could have to supplement a mainly plant-based diet. We want to get chickens so that we can have some eggs, potentially raise chickens to eat chickens, potentially hunt. There's turkey and deer up here. Maybe Lou will get into fly fishing or something like that.
So yeah, their video title's 100% true, even though they may have not consumed any animal products as of yet. But what I'm hearing right here is all these justifications for killing animals in the name of sustainable living. So yeah, animal cruelty and exploitation are okay now in their minds, and therefore yeah, they're not vegan anymore.
We also have friends who raised goats, and they killed the goat at their land and did it in a very it's hard. I feel like my words are gonna get twisted.
Did you hear that? She was about to say the goats were killed in a very and she stopped herself, humane way. And as a longtime vegan, I'm hoping she would have learned over the 10 years that there's no way to kill an animal in a peaceful, loving way. I mean, even if an animal's been treated with love its entire life, and I think that's even worse. That's like killing a pet. There's no way to humanely kill a sentient being who doesn't want to die.
But it's like if somebody we know raised an animal and killed the animal and butchered the animal, I think I would be open to that.
Again, why? That doesn't make it any better that a friend raised the animal and butchered the animal. Like, the animal still got slaughtered. I don't understand how I guess you're not vegan. Yeah, here's the definition. When it's, again, if you're against animal cruelty and exploitation, you would see there's pretty much no distinction between a friend killing an animal for you or an animal being slaughtered in a slaughterhouse. It's all the same result.
I did, watch some butchering videos the last few days to really, kind of wrap my head around it. And it's a lot. There's no two ways about it. I feel like our culture is very removed from death and from killing and from slaughtering animals.
Yes, because it's ghastly and gruesome to kill and butcher an animal.
But most people just can go to the grocery store and eat that food, but I think that they would be very confronted if they saw a video of butchering. And I'm like, if I'm going to eat an animal, I would like to be able to witness its death and make that a very sacred experience.
No, you just didn't go there. You're saying witnessing firsthand a living, breathing, sentient being with emotions who doesn't want to die to be your dinner, witnessing its death would be a spiritual experience for you? Well, let's look at it from an animal's perspective. It's not a spiritual experience to be slaughtered. Let's just not dilute words like sacred or spiritual and connect them to killing. Yes, it was a sacred experience to kill another living sentient being. I mean, is that a justification for a human to murder another human, saying, hey, it was a very sacred thing for me? All right, so anyway, for the rest of the video, she brings in her, I assume, husband, and they discuss this topic of why they're no longer vegan together.
It's also I also am the one who grew a baby and am still nursing a massive child. So I feel more depleted than you feel.
Mm-hmm. All right, so for me, that's pretty curious how she mentions this feeling of depletion after having given birth. And hey, you guys know I'm not a medical doctor, a dietitian, nutritionist, a PhD in biochemistry or anything like that. But I am aware that there is this issue known as postnatal depletion, which happens after many women give birth. And this has nothing to do with vegan women, just something that happens to people. So postnatal depletion can be described as the physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion that many women experience after giving birth. It's not the same as postpartum depression, although the two conditions can coexist. And it can manifest itself in a variety of ways, including fatigue, irritability, emotional exhaustion, brain fog. And in this article, the number one cause of this condition is from lack of nutrition. The pregnancy and childbirth place significant demands on the body, and many women are left depleted in key nutrients such as iron, magnesium, and the B vitamins. These nutritional deficiencies can leave women feeling exhausted and unable to cope with the demands of motherhood. And this article says, if you think you may be deficient, please ask for a complete panel and start integrating natural supplements, postnatal vitamins, or protein powders for extra energy. So basically, yeah, get your blood checked, check for deficiencies for reals, and consult the advice of a medical health professional to help you determine what you need to do exactly to tackle these deficiencies that come from postpartum depletion. In the show description, I see at least she did start supplementing with a few vitamins, not the entire ones that the article suggested, but I don't see any mention of a blood panel, let alone any consultations with a medical professional. Once again, I'm not a health professional or medical doctor, but if I was suffering from some condition which I thought maybe I should no longer be vegan, and I held veganism very near and dear to my heart because I believe animal cruelty and exploitation are wrong, I sure as hell would get the opinion of a health professional before kind of just freelancing as a, self-trained doctor or something like that and self-diagnosing and saying, yeah, I shouldn't be vegan anymore. But anyway, I'm not ridiculing or making fun of her. That's just how I would roll. But anyway, yeah, to my professionally non-medically trained mind, it seems like postpartum depletion seems like a very reasonable explanation for the depleted feelings she's been feeling recently. And to further add evidence for that is how her husband's been feeling lately.
I mean, I think for me, it's not really about feeling depleted. I feel pretty good how I am. It's more just I would like our homestead to actually be off-grid self-sufficient as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And I think I don't want to say it's impossible to do that without animals. It's just when I look at the timeline, it feels like it'll take 15 to 20 years to get there without animals.
Yeah.
And I think like with like if we have chickens and like if I get into hunting and fishing and stuff like that, we're like 2 years away.
So I don't know how to fact check that math. Let's just assume it to be true, but it's a moot point because they've already both decided that some kind of a concept, this fantasy of self-sustainability, is more important to them than their, I assume, prior held beliefs that animal cruelty and exploitation are wrong. So to me, what I'm hearing is that, yeah, there's no reason why they can't be vegan. They have decided that they no longer want to be vegan because that's not a high priority for them. They'd prefer to not go to the stores and buy plants, and instead they chose willingly to stay at their homestead or farm here, whatever it is, and hunt animals as much as possible because sustainability is a higher priority than being against animal cruelty and exploitation.
For me, kind of the tipping point, at least like in terms of like how I work my brain around it, is just like individual situations where it's like hard to like stick to a rigid ideology. Like
rigid ideology, please. I mean, veganism is nothing other than a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. And it leaves a little wiggle room there where they say as far as possible and practicable. It doesn't mean, oh, you can have steak once in a while. It just means if it's not possible for you to be 100% vegan because there might be some animal product in a tire in your car or something like that, but you still need your tires and cars to get to work. Yeah, veganism isn't asking you to become homeless or unemployed.
For example, with like work gear, it's like I keep trying to buy synthetic like clothing for like different jobs.
Yeah.
Like I bought like synthetic gloves, like welding gloves. I bought synthetic boots, and it's like they always just break right away.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, well, now I'm going to throw that away and buy a new pair.
Yeah.
And then I bought like a pair of like leather welding gloves, and like they're still kicking. I bought like leather work boots.
Let me make it absolutely clear. I'm not promoting leather gloves or leather work boots, but he might have an argument here as far as possible and practicable. If his non-vegan leather stuff's falling apart, maybe so. But here's my whole point. Regardless of what the situation is, just because you might have to have a leather product doesn't mean that you should start consuming animal products. Do the best you can. But please don't use this example of yours, how your leather work boots are more durable than your vegan work boots, as some kind of justification or an excuse to hunt animals. It doesn't make any sense.
I like eating vegan like 99% of the time, and I feel like I'm going to continue doing that.
I mean, this is a big red flag for me. If you've been vegan for the past 10 years and you like eating vegan 99% of the time, what are you eating this other 1% of the time?
It's just like there's that 1% of the time where it's like I don't want to be stuck in this like rigid group thing. No, you're not stuck in any kind of group thing. It's just a stance that you take personally against animal cruelty and exploitation. You believe those things are wrong, and you take actions in your life, like, say, not consuming animal products because you believe animal cruelty and exploitation are wrong. How does that make you stuck in a box? I feel like we just have a ton of deer running around.
And therefore, you feel it's justified to slaughter these innocent animals?
But on the other hand, like watching the butchering videos and stuff like that, it's like it's a huge change, and like I don't really know. It's so hard to like know like how things will like
evolve for us.
Well, of course, you guys had a negative, anxiety-filled emotional reaction watching the butchering video because it's gruesome. Animals don't want to be slaughtered. And you know, after having been vegan for 10 years, that you don't need to have animals slaughtered for you. So I don't understand why all of a sudden now you're throwing out your previously held beliefs against animal cruelty and exploitation being wrong and using self-sustainability as a justification to be cruel to these animals.
I enjoy the idea of like not being like stuck in a box. You know, like I think veganism served us incredibly well, like in terms of like just learning about all sorts of different stuff, and I don't want to like throw that all out.
Look, there's only one thing that you need to have learned about veganism, is that it's a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. And you're throwing it out. And you're saying you don't like being stuck in a box. So I guess that means you just don't want to be confined to a person who believes animal cruelty and exploitation are wrong, and therefore why you made this "why I'm no longer vegan" video.
And we've also done this for a decade. And it feels like the right time, especially with our son growing, to like create a new story for our family. Yeah,
I think like for me, the only part that like really excites me is the idea of like getting this property like for real off-grid self-sufficient as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm just open to like any way to do that.
And according to you, the only way to do that is to stop going to the store and buying plants and instead embark on this wild new fantasy life where you're going to shoot animals and fly fish and go to your goat friend's house, or they're going to slaughter a goat in front of you and have a sacred experience. This is your choice. These are your new priorities. So yes, wild we roam, you guys are justified in making this why I'm no longer vegan video, because you guys are no longer vegan. And you don't have to have already consumed animal products, because, you know, veganism at its core is a belief, a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation, which you guys have made very clear in this video that you are okay with now. You've flipped the switch. I assume you guys were against it at some point, and now you guys are totally fine with that in the name of sustainability. So I want to just recap what we learned in this video. One, remember the two things I'm looking for. Was there some compelling reason why they couldn't be vegan? No, they just instead chose to embark on a new life path of sustainability, and in their minds that meant having to kill animals in order to accomplish that goal. And secondly, regarding her postpartum depletion, which I have complete, you know, sympathy and compassion for, and I believe it's real. I didn't see any kind of medical doctor saying, hey, this is because you're vegan and you need to change your diet because of it. So anyway, I hope I didn't come off too like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like mean or lacking understanding, compassion. I try to listen to what people say with a very open mind to see if there's any compelling reason why a person, or in this case persons, couldn't be vegan, and I didn't hear one. So let me know down below what you thought. Do you think I missed something and there's a real reason why they can't be vegan? I don't think so, but let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of these reasons or excuses. Sustainability, that's why I can't be vegan, or leather work boots, that's why I can't be vegan. Let me know down below. So hit like, share this video, and become a channel member. And remember, until next time, doesn't suck being vegan.